Well, Amit, day one of the AHA Scientific Sessions 2022 in Chicago was pretty fun to be back in person. Just really kind of welcome home, one world together for science. What were the interesting things you saw today? For a recap, we're going to recap today and a little bit of thinking into tomorrow.
Well, first, it was amazing to be back together. Boy, the energy, all that's happening here in the Science and Technology Hall. But I got to start with your session, Manesh, the opening session. Wow. I mean, first, great to hear about what was coming, but to see from these public health experts and to hear their passion, from Regina Benjamin and Jerome, for the two, key leaders during COVID, during a very difficult time.
Yeah.
To hear from, Rob Califf, an FDA commissioner, and then get the international perspective from Dr. Pinto. There were so many poignant moments about public health, about adversity and how that's building up upon us.
Yeah.
And then so many ways forward that we really need to think about as we're walking around the sessions. Kudos to you, that was an amazing session.
I appreciate it. I guess it was a lot of people putting it together, as you know, and I think the thing that stuck for me was the messages about how we know a lot of the science, we're generating new science, but unfortunately it's not getting to our patients, and certainly in the United States, but even around the world, it's not getting there. So a lot of things we got to fix. Misinformation's one of the things we heard about, so really exciting about that. I was taken aback right after that we went right into the late breakers. And the first late breaking session this morning, people have been buzzing about it because there were 3 common clinical questions. Which diuretic in heart failure? Furosemide, torsemide. Really similar across 2,800 patients with fairly high event rate. And I know it was total mortality, and people were saying, well, will we see differences in cardiovascular? Does it change my practice? I sort of think it informs your practice, because you might be switching patients and maybe you don't do that now. Second large randomized trial, DCP, hydrochlorothalidone versus chlorothalidone. Similar findings for blood pressure and outcomes. Surprising to me. I would have thought chlorothalidone would have been better. And then prominent, maybe I'll get your take on that. That's a fibrate in triglyceride space. What was your thought on that?
Oh boy, I thought the discussants were amazing today. And here's the beauty about all 3 of those. Tomorrow we have in-depth sessions where people who heard about them can get a deeper dive, but certainly in the prevention space, this has upended things, made us really think about it, and those conversations are ongoing. I have to say some of the things that I saw today, purposefully I wanted to see about young investigators, and so I went to a young investigator, Elizabeth Barrett Connor Young Investigator Award, and to see that's what it is about here, is the young investigators, sharing their science, launching their careers, but guess what? Right before that, I was at the Distinguished Scientist presentation by Susan O'Priel. So that's what it is here, is the up-and-comers and the leaders in the field all in one place. So
yeah, sort of first mile, last mile, getting to see people across that whole spectrum. Really amazing and really fun under one big roof. A little bit around the late breakers again, heart failure with our first expression with the gene therapy potentially for amyloid ATTR, and the Iron Man study showing us that iron infusions help our patients with heart failure. What are you looking forward to tomorrow? What are the things you see coming tomorrow?
Well, listen, more late breakers are coming tomorrow, that's for sure. And I should also say main events. Let's not forget the one that today our president led, thinking about the pipeline, to your point about action items. But tomorrow, there are 3 late breaker sessions. Of course, I'm going to talk about the prevention ones because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Great one related to hypertension. We're going from, village doctors with 30,000 people, to mindfulness with 200 people to see what that does for blood pressure changes. But in the afternoon, if you're a lipidologist, that's where you got to be. We have LPA, we have EPA, and then we also have about supplements and what do they do. And then let's not forget EMPA Kidney, which is a blockbuster trial. So great afternoon for a preventionist.
Huge science.
What about the interventionalist?
Yeah, the interventionalists have a session in the morning where we're going to get to see long-term findings of radial artery and surgery. We're going to get to see kids, babies, or infants under 1 getting randomized to steroids or not, going through adult cardiac surgery. There's an ECMO cardiogenic shock randomized trial. So something for everyone again. There's an herbal out of China for a time of acute MI. Really interesting findings. Yeah. I think people are going to be looking at this science and saying that's meaningful. And as you said, tomorrow, the presidential address with Michelle Albert. I'll tell you today with the workforce lecture and just her presence on the stage to again tell us, as I hope people think, we're at a time where we need leadership. It's a pivotal moment for us. She's going to help us get to more equitable health, and I think that's a key step. Yeah. I look forward to her conversation with everyone.
Absolutely, the presidential lecture is a non-miss.
All right, well, thank you all for looking into and listening to our daily recap. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow from the AHA 2022.
Thank you.